My name is Pablo Markin, and I would like to be making regular videos on the contemporary art topics, in particular in Asia. And my interest in art in Asia comes from my stay in Shanghai around 10 years ago, when I was doing my postdoctoral research at the East China Normal University, and it was about urban studies, Chinese contemporary art, and other things. After that, I didn't do much with my research materials, and I think that the time has come for me to delve back, to come back to the topic and maybe widen the focus and to think about other Asian art scenes. And this video essentially is about Singapore Art Week that has been happening early this year. So this is a very interesting city. Singapore is, I think, fascinating, and it's a very hybrid urban space, a very complex history, various many influences it has had historically and presently, and its own cultural policy over the years and presently as well. I think that in the Asian region, East Asia, Southeast Asia, Singapore is one of the more fascinating places. Of course, it all happening on the background, of course, of the rise in China, of the changes in the West in general, global power relations, economic relations, global rebalancing of sorts going on in Asia is definitely becoming more important, and I think that this year's Art Week in Singapore presents it very well, as it actually attests to the vibrancy of the art scene in Singapore, as a new cultural district has been added to the map of Singapore, New Baru. So this is a culture class essentially in Singapore, and it showcases the museums in Singapore, the National Art Museum, and also the alternative spaces, and also the food and drink and bar scene in the city. And of course there is a yearly Singapore art fair, which is, by being so large scale, as it includes over 100 galleries attending this year, and by being so multicultural, as so many things are going on in the city, I think that this is one of the more interesting places, and of course one cannot do justice to all of the things which are being featured in the reviews, in the materials you could find on the internet. So that I think that this channel will be doing step-by-step presentation of what is being done let's say in the art field, in the art scene, in various places. And I think that I will be trying to feature, let's say, Singapore. I will be doing summaries, I will be leaving links, and this is something I'm rather interested in general. I think that YouTube can be a good original background and medium, and one can be more academic, less academic, and also I would be preferably more academic about art scene in Singapore, because if you go to the curatorial writing itself, it tends to be one thing after another, and it is emphasizing all the time what you can experience and visit as a tourist, basically as a cultural tourist, etc. And I think that what is missing is a kind of a broader, more academic, more educational point of view on maybe more global trends or tendencies which happen at the same time in the city, in the region, globally. And I think that that could also be adding value, so that I will be trying to combine the topical aspect of what is going on in the art scene, and what can be maybe brought to bear on those topical items in terms of the scholarly perspective, in terms of what can be let's say, associatively thought of, and I think that the present moment offers that opportunity. The presence of the technical tools, AI, digital tools, recording equipment, whatnot, offers an opportunity for people like me doing it on a whim, almost doing it impromptu, something of this type to be launched and to be hopefully successful over time as something that I will be gradually becoming more adept at conveying what it is that one should be interested about in the Singapore Art Week, for example, and then what we can be thinking of in terms of maybe a joint juggling of both what artworks are being presented about and what it can be actually thought of in context of. In other words, academically, more broadly, etc. Anything that this is missing, essentially. In other words, since it is so difficult, and I already also have experience in blog writing, and so it is so difficult to write a blog post on a large-scale event that one wants to include all of the small items, let's say places to get your coffee, places to eat, places to visit, that one has no scope or space for other things. And I think that one has to be allowing more broad perspective, something that one could actually think of in relation to an event, in relation to a place, or on a very topical basis, on a very off the cuff manner, but then still getting to the archive. In other words, I think that as YouTube grows smarter and rich in terms of the content, I think that we should also be trying to bring ideas out of the academic archive. In other words, those two archives, they can be intersecting. I think this video blog is going to be a place where those two archives are going to be intersecting in a very systematic way. In other words, one cannot be not systematic about trying to bring academic ideas, maybe scholarly topics, scholarly sources, to bear on what a certain review of an art event is about, and then it can lead to maybe a focus on an exhibition at a museum, or a focus on an artistic work, or a focus on something else, maybe even food scene, art scene. Something that one can be doing that way. In other words, I think that for me this will be, I come back to the whole Asian art, of course, and I also think that Chinese art, as it has evolved over the last 10 years, will be offering a lot of insights, will be offering a lot of the materials that one can be analyzing in both a technical way, on the background of the scholarly reflection happening internationally, and then to bring that to bear on what is going on in the art world. I think that can bring and bear fruits, bring ideas, bring insights, and bear fruits in terms of reflection, in terms of understanding, in terms of the relevance it has. In other words, kind of think that, okay, maybe big museums are still in the West, are still, say, in New York, in Paris, in Berlin, let's say, London, but I think that those up-and-coming art capitals of the world, which could be in Shanghai, which could be in Singapore, which could be in Kuala Lumpur, I don't know, could also be important over time, and I think they are important right now, since they are placed where it is at in terms of economic growth, in terms of a lot of important things on a slow scale happening internationally. And I think this is also something that Singapore draws on as it pulls artists from, say, from the region, from China, from Malaysia, from from the international scene, and I think that it manages to bring all those different strands into one large-scale event together is very remarkable in its own right.